We're going to talk about blood clotting. If you injure yourself, you start bleeding. You need to fix that so you don't die. At least most people would want to do that. Let's talk about, there are kinds of substances in your body. We call them zymogens. Zymogen, and another word for that is a pro-enzyme. It can be other things as well, but we're going to be talking about pro-enzymes. Pro-enzyme isn't like as opposed to an amateur enzyme. We don't mean it that way. Zymogens and pro-enzymes are enzymes that are currently in an inactive form. They have to be activated in order to get to work. This is a very powerful idea in your body because you have lots of pro-enzymes, zymogens floating around in your blood right now. You don't want them to be working all the time. You only want them to work when you need them to, and that's the powerful thing here. So normally, in order to figure out, whenever it's easy to spot a pro-enzyme or a zymogen. Zymogens, the word will end in -ogen. Pro-enzymes start with the suffix pro. All right. So let's take a look then at blood clotting. So when you fall, like you're running from the chupacabra, you fall onto the asphalt, you scrape your arm, ow! And there's the pieces of skin peeling off and there's blood. You got to fix that, all right? So what happens is you have two pathways that jump into action. The intrinsic pathway and the extrinsic pathway. So what's going on here is both of these pathways have the same goal. The intrinsic pathway and the extrinsic pathway. Both of them are going to work together to form something called prothrombin activator. Okay, so these two pathways, intrinsic pathway is basically from damage to the blood vessel. Extrinsic is from damage to the tissue. Both of them together produce prothrombin activator. So what do you suppose prothrombin activator does? Yeah, activates prothrombin. So prothrombin is something that's in your blood right now. And remember, what is prothrombin? We just looked at this. What kind of thing is prothrombin? It's a zymogen or a pro-enzyme. So prothrombin activator is going to activate prothrombin, and it's going to turn it into thrombin. Now, the technical name for a blood clot is a thrombus. So what do you suppose thrombin does? Makes thrombuses, all right? Or thrombi. So thrombin then is going to work on yet another zymogen called fibrinogen. So fibrinogen is in your blood right now. You've got it in your blood right now. There's tons of it. And what happens is, once thrombin is made, thrombin then activates fibrinogen and turns it into, how do we know what it turns it into? We knew that prothrombin turned into thrombin because we took off the pro. What's fibrinogen going to turn into? We got to take off the O-gen. It's going to turn into fibrin. And there you go. Fibrin is a sticky substance that actually forms the clot. It forms a net, all right? Like a fishing net, like a butterfly net, all right? So fibrin, sticky strands that all cross-link, all right? They form a giant net inside of your blood vessel, and they catch everything flowing downstream. They catch red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. It's like a big giant log jam in the river, and that's what a blood clot is, all right? So that's the way it works, kids. That's the way you make blood clots. Again, damage to the blood vessel and to the tissue cause the activation of prothrombin activator, the formation of prothrombin activator. Then prothrombin, which is in your blood right now, prothrombin activator turned prothrombin into thrombin, and then thrombin in turn turned fibrinogen into fibrin, and boom, we got the blood clot. See? Cool, huh? That's how it works. Now, once you form a blood clot, do you want that blood clot to last the rest of your life? Generally not, all right? You only want it to last long enough that you can repair the tissue and repair the blood vessel, all right? The blood vessel endothelium needs to get fixed. So once that happens, we've got to get rid of the clot, all right? So here, by the way, we had clot formation, all right? This is how we form the clot. So clot formation, right? Once we repair everything, then we need to do clot retraction. So let's look at how that's going to work. Once again, it's our buddy thrombin who turns out to play a role here. So thrombin, still some hanging around, is going to work on something called plasminogen, yet another zymogen. So thrombin is going to work on plasminogen, and it's going to turn plasminogen into what? Yeah, you guessed it, going to turn it into plasmin. All right. Once you get plasmin, then what happens is plasmin goes to work on fibrin. And when plasmin goes to work on fibrin, plasmin subjects fibrin to what we call, oh, it's awesome, it's raining really hard outside right now, it's so cool. This is going to promote fibrinolysis. Fibrinolysis. You know back from your Bio 201 classes, in your Bio 156 classes, lysis means to break down. So what does fibrinolysis mean? It means you break down the fibrin, all right? So we had clot formation, now here we have clot retraction. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear that on the video. Rain is really beating against the window out there. So awesome. All right, so that's it. That's the pathway. All about homeostasis, all right? You injure yourself. You activate. You form this activating compound. Turns the zymogen into an active form. That turns another zymogen into an active form. And boom, we get the blood clot. Clot formation. Now we repair the tissue. We repair the blood vessel wall. And once that's done, the thrombin double duties, turns plasminogen into plasmin. Plasmin takes the fibrin, causes it to undergo fibrinolysis, and clot retraction. So there you go, the homeostasis of clot formation and clot retraction, just to keep you healthy after you kill the chupacabra, so now you can cook it and eat it and have chupacabra stew for dinner.